can oversee coordination, EMP coordination for the federal, state, and local, and put it on an emergency basis, and get coordination among the various levels of government, from the state to the federal, and get that going. But he hasn't done it. He could easily do that just by the stroke of a pen.
He sure could. We should also have extra powered transmitters, transformers, because I understand there aren't many backups available.
Well, your large ones are not going to be, and we're seeing increasing instances where people are actually sabotaging the big ones, attempting to sabotage the big ones.
As a test, I bet it's a test. It's a test.
Oh yeah, it's just a test to see what the reaction is going to be, and the interesting thing is that they are able to hit with pinpoint accuracy precisely where the coolants are located
they know
in that transformer. Doing. Yeah, they know exactly what they're doing, and there have been instances in New Jersey recently,
California,
in addition to San Jose. And San Jose has received the most publicity because of what happened there, but 17 transformers were knocked out.
Jeez. Tell me about the New Jersey one.
Well, the same thing. There's been local episodes of sabotage on some of these transformers, and they've been able to catch it in time. But if you have major transformers that are knocked out, it's going to be we won't be able to replace them now. There was a leaked document from DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, that says if you hit 9 transformers located where they won't specify in what locations throughout the United States, you'll knock down the entire grid of the United States. If you knock out 9 transformers, large transformers. Now, these transformers is what transmits the electricity from one location to another across country. And then other transformers decrease that electricity until it gets into your house.
We have been so lucky so far.
Well, yeah, and these transformers are in areas that are not protected in any way in terms of physical security, let alone hardened against a gamma ray, a microwave, or anything of the sort.
Are leaders just plain stupid?
It's politics, and they don't believe that there's a problem, and we don't believe the way this country reacts all the time is it reacts. It doesn't take preventative
It's not proactive.
action.
Exactly. I'm the kind of guy, Michael. I want to bring my car to get it tuned up, fixed up before it breaks down on the freeway at 3 o'clock in the morning.
That's correct. And we do just the opposite from a national standpoint. Our government has basically failed us, and that's why in my book I talk about what people ultimately may need to do for themselves, because if the local level is without communications, they're not going to be able to meet emergency services, assuming that the government's not functioning properly at the federal level. And what we really need to do is reinstitute these national defense bunkers that we used to have during the 50s, where we can have storage of food and water and medical and medicines in the event of an extended
Well, you're not going to be able to get anywhere. I mean, first and foremost, your gasoline pumps aren't going to work.
That's correct.
There's going to be a rush right away as people try to store up on gasoline, let's say before something happens. People normally just fill up their cars. And then let's say the episode occurs. That's it. The pumps don't work. You can't go out and get your money. The ATMs aren't going to work. The banks aren't going to have enough cash on hand to take care of you.
Well, you might lose all of your savings.
Yeah, it could be gone. Yep. Your stores. I mean, I went into a drugstore 2 years ago in St. Louis. They had a power outage. They tried to stay open for a few hours, doing things manually. They stopped. They said, "We can't do this. We got to close the store."
Yeah. Well, it could. Your emergency services, for example, I spoke to one fireman who said, if there was an EMP event, their fire trucks wouldn't work, their emergency vehicles wouldn't work because they all have electronic ignitions.
And you couldn't call a police officer for help.
Correct.
Or 911. Your phone system isn't working.
It wouldn't be working. That's correct.
What a disaster.
So you're on your own.
Biblical proportions.
Yep. Well, this is why the estimate is 90% of the U.S. population would be affected.
But it's the whole planet. If it's not an EMP attack, if it's an X flare, the whole planet gets it. right?
Well, the whole planet will get it, but it will depend upon, it depends upon how industrialized your country is. The most industrialized countries of the world will be most affected.
Right. Okay.
And the lesser industrialized won't be affected. You're basically throwing back to the 19th century.
If you've learned how to live without electricity, you're going to get through that.
Yeah, you'll be fine. If you hunt for your food and you grow your food, you're going to be fine. But then you've got to worry about marauders, as you pointed out, who are going to be looking, the have-nots looking for those who have something. And their money probably won't matter. What you're going to really need is your firearm.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. But how long can that last? You won't have enough ammo to keep the world away.
That's right. Well, it'll take months and years. It could easily be months or years. NASA said with a natural flare, we'd be out of business from 4 to 10 years.
Michael, I've seen people go 2 days without power and they can't handle it.
That's correct.
They can't handle it.
Well, it would be national calamity. National calamity.
I mean, let's assume it